I have never done this before. Hit 200 kilos for 2 days in a row. That's never happened in my life. It's been a year since the last time I hit 200 kilos. And then there was like a whole period, at least 6 months, where I had trouble with my hip pain. Finally kind of ironed that out. I thought I ironed it out, and it came back again. I feel like I've sorted it now, and I've kind of had this new kind of wave of progression. There was a point where I used to kind of do 200 kilos every week. Now it seems I can do it even like 2 days in a row, which is a very encouraging feeling. And the most exciting thing for me, above all, is the fact that there is no discomfort in the hip at all. At my worst, my right hip pain was causing me a lot of trouble. And as I was working on that, the left hip started flaring up. And so I had an issue with both hips at one point. That was kind of the lowest point of my, I guess, year this year. That kind of led me to work everything out. And knock on wood, thank God, I've worked it out. And so today I was able to hit 200 kilos for one second day in a row. Today I was just planning to come in, warm up a little bit, touch the bar, go through the motions and just fully auto-regulate. I was even thinking to myself, I'll do 160 for one. After yesterday's session, I felt a little bit of fatigue, kind of overall fatigue, kind of that CNS drainage, especially working with Supermax weights, with the pin squats. I was expecting, a lot of fatigue today, but I had a good sleep. I had a lot of food last night. Today I woke up and I was like, I still kind of feel tired. Went to the gym, warmed up, and the weight just felt easy. And the way I am, I always kind of think about cause and effect. What's causing this? It's very, very hard to kind of pin down exactly the cause in biology, unless you're controlling many different variables. For me, right now I'm on annual leave from work, so I'm not doing night shifts. I'm not doing long shifts. So maybe it's just that. Maybe this is just me, completely getting rid of that kind of excess fatigue. Or the other thing I'm thinking about is maybe it's the Supermax training. I've done 2 days in the last 4 days where I've kind of done pin squats with super heavy weights. So I did 220 kilos yesterday, and then 3 days before that, or 2 days before that, I did 240 with the higher kind of pin. I don't know whether it's that. I'd like to say that it is that because I almost kind of felt immediate effects from that. I don't know what it is about the body, but you almost kind of have to show it. Show the central nervous system that you're not going to die under a heavy weight. So even just doing a rack hold, I've kind of experimented with that in the past. It does something to you. It does something to the core. It does something to your whole organism, I guess, to kind of fight and breathe and exist under a heavy weight. So if you can kind of add a little bit of range of motion to that, like what I did with super high, basically quarter squat, pin squats, and spend a bit of time in that kind of tension, I think there's some benefit there. Now, I don't know. I don't want to say that if you guys do pin squats, you're going to start smashing your maxes every day. I don't know. But I'm just trying to kind of look for reasons right now. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know. Ever since I started doing the pin squats, it's only been not even a week, man. I've kind of felt lighter in my feet. I don't know whether that's a placebo effect or whether it's all kind of psychogenic. I don't really know what's going on, but I feel lighter on my feet, and I hate to say it, I'm always kind of searching for it, but I feel poppy. I literally feel like I can pop up and dunk the ball. That kind of lightness on my feet. And that's kind of how I felt today. I felt tired, but the moment I started squatting, the moment I started moving the bar, I was like, man, this is just feeling so damn light, man. And when the bar feels light on your shoulders, even if you're not strong that day, if it's feeling light, it gives you that confidence. It gives you that confidence to attack, to really kind of fight the bar. And I've said this in the past, man, like for the last year, for the best part of the whole last 12 months, man, I've had periods where, I wanna put all my might into the bar, but I'm always kind of hesitant because when I really, really hammer the hell after that bar, I feel that pain come in with the hip. It's an incredibly liberating feeling when you can just give it all you got, put every little ounce of power that you have into the bar and not to expect pain. That's a special feeling. And for anybody out there that's listening to this, that's had kind of pain issues, whatever joint, you know what I'm talking about, man. Like, you always kind of want to hold something in reserve because you don't want to kind of hit that rev limiter with the pain. It's a sucky thing. But anyway, here it is, 200 for one. This is the second day in a row I've hit this. Like I said, I've never done this in the past. I'm quite happy with this. And like I said, I've never done this in the past, you know. And the most exciting thing, like I said to you guys, man, my hips are feeling strong. It's a beautiful feeling, man. I had a weird kind of walkout here. I don't really know what happened, man. I kind of took 2 extra steps or 1 extra step. It looked weird. Look at that. I'm kind of walking 50 meters forward. Anyway, here it is. Yeah. So kind of slowed down in the mid portion, but you know, this is 200 kilos, man. This is like 5 kilos off my max. So this is moving really, really well, really happy. And after that, I was like, man, what am I going to do? Should I just go home now or what? I was feeling good. And the fact that I'm supposed to be auto-regulating my training, when you feel good like this, you're supposed to kind of do a little bit extra. So I decided to do front squats. Now, front squats have been out of the mix for like at least a month, maybe even longer. I like doing front squats. You know, it's one of those things that I feel, you know, a lot of guys think that this is a quad exercise. For me, this is far from a quad exercise, man. This is just all upper back. And you'll see when I finally hit 140, which was the max for the day, the first thing they gave out was my front rack. I just started caving forward. And so when that happens, all sorts of weird shit goes on. Like you want to drop the bar, and so you're fighting, you're putting your shoulders in an awkward position. I did that, and then after all of this, I did 3 exercises today: back squat, front squat, and I did those psoas curls again. That's another thing that's kind of come back into the picture again, out of necessity. I had a weird day where my hip flexors were feeling weird, so I threw them in the other day, and ever since then it's kind of been good. So very much reactive training right now. It always kind of is with me. I'm always kind of thinking my way through these problems. But yeah, right now I'm just so excited, man. I want to say, maybe it's a combination of things. It's kind of the case with biology, man. Like like I said, it's really hard to pin something down, but combination of a lot of rest, a lot of food, spending a lot of time with my family home, chilling out, and also these damn pin squats, man. I don't know, man. There's something unbelievable with the body when you're handling super max weights, and then you go back to your max weights or 90%. It just feels like a joke, man. Like, you know, there's like a confidence thing, and maybe this is all just in my head. Maybe all of this is in my head. You know, teaching my body, I'm like, you know, I'm okay under this weight. This is not going to hurt me. I know when I tried 210 kilos, I think I tried once a month or so ago. You know, man, that thing felt heavy as hell on me, man. I felt like I was getting crushed underneath that. And so, you know, the moment you unrag the weight, you guys might be different to me, but the moment I unrag the weight and I'm like, man, this is heavy. Man, the last thing I want to do is start unlocking my knees and hips, because that's going to kill me, man, right? But, you know, on days like this, when I unrack 200 kilos and it feels like I can stand there for like 5 minutes with it, man, that's a special feeling, man. You know, it gives you the confidence to fight, you know, at least give it a good old fight. So, you know, in the past, I've kind of tried to look for what gives me that kind of poppiness. And in the past, I've kind of said the glutes, that's kind of the last thing I kind of try to kind of work out. It's definitely the glutes. When my glutes are on, everything feels lighter. And it might still be that. You know, I don't know. The pin squats do more than just the glutes, right? They do the quads, they do the core, they do the central nervous system. So, you know, if you guys haven't tried pin squats before, just do it for like 1 session or 2 sessions and see what I mean when I say to you, when you're handling like 10% more than your max. Oh man, when you go down to your max, man, it's just, I don't know. Not even on the same day. I'm talking about the following day. Like, you know, for me, this is the day after I did the pin squats. I mean, that yesterday was the second session of the pin squats. Like I said, this week, this last 7 days. So I'm definitely going to continue doing that. And the way I'm thinking about it right now is I'm going to do it every other day. So today I didn't do it. Tomorrow I'm going to do pin squats. So the moment I come into the gym, straight to the squat rack, like I always freaking do, and just load up the bar, load up the pins. I don't even know, like in the gym, there's numbers to the holes in the squat rack, but my squat rack doesn't have numbers, so I might have to get some white out or something, or some white paint and start like numbering them so I can keep track of, you know, where I am. Ultimately, what I want to do is kind of what Paul Anderson did. I spoke about this yesterday, and actually do progressive, you know, ranges of motion. So, you know, spend some time with a certain kind of height and go down a little bit, go down a little, go down a little bit. Ultimately, you can also just work in that kind of shitty range that everyone has, a universal kind of, that spectrum of where we all don't like to be. You can work on that range as well. But the way Paul Anderson did it, like I explained yesterday, is he just, basically went from a quarter squat, really high quarter squat, working down to like a full squat. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yesterday was a little lower, and already I saw I think it was like a 10 kilo decrease on the bar. So, and 5 reps less. So definitely, the further I go down, the less power I'm going to have. I was also reading, one of you guys recommended a Greg Knuckles article about, how to overcome these weak spots, these grindy spots, universal sticking points. He basically said you don't. You don't overcome these things. You can just work on improving the speed out of the bottom. I guess that's one way. And I'm not saying that he's wrong. Definitely, he's a very smart fella. I've got a lot of respect for him. I've spent a lot of time reading his stuff. But I just feel like you can kind of ignore the sticking point and just work on kind of the bits outside the sticking point. But already I've kind of worked on my sticking point, and already I feel a little bit better. I think sticking points, there's something there. There is a different type of tension in the sticking point. I feel like there's a transition. Most people get out of the hole quite well, depending if you're actually going ATG. Most people get out of the hole really well. That's thanks to adductors, I guess glutes. But then when you get to that, halfway point, I feel like there's a transition. And so I guess the cue there is shove your hips underneath the bar as soon as possible. Get away from that, early hip rise. Just really tuck your bottom underneath. And Greg Knuckles spoke about this in this article where he said that a lot of weightlifters do this. They basically race to use their quads. So, they really try and shove their hips underneath the bar as soon as possible. That's definitely a cue to use. And that's why I think when you're doing quarter squats are all basically quads. So if you just, put your quads on the map, if you will, then it's going to be easier to recognize, okay, it's time for quads when you get to the middle point. Anyway, guys, some more of my thoughts. Really excited about today. Second day of hitting 200 for 1. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Maybe it's going to be the third day in a row. Who knows? All right, guys. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.